Hey, did you know that Venezuela's export isn't just oil or refugees? It's chaos. Meet the Tren de Aragua, a state-sponsored gang allegedly unleashed by Nicolás Maduro to destabilize the United States. From violent takeovers to murder to political meddling, their impact could be closer to home than you think. Now, in this video, we're going to go over what a former Venezuelan Army Lieutenant Colonel has to say about why they are here and what Maduro's goal is. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, click the button to become a subscriber to the channel. Hit the notification bell and smack that like button because it helps us with the algorithm. All right, let's jump right into the story. So Venezuela isn't just exporting oil or its people, it's exporting mayhem, fear, and chaos. Enter the Tren de Aragua, or TDA for short, a gang reportedly backed by the Maduro regime and now making itself right at home in over 30 U.S. cities. Let that sink in for a moment. 30 cities under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch. That's not just a small problem, guys. That's a coordinated invasion with help from the inside. When you leave our southern border wide open, even David Pakman would be smart enough to realize bad people are going to come in and eventually do bad things. This is worse than just bad people making it over our border. These gang members were sent here to intentionally cause chaos in our streets. Now, this isn't your average street gang. According to former Venezuelan Army Lieutenant Colonel Jose Gustavo Arocha, the Tren de Aragua is a state-sponsored entity. Translation, Maduro's government allegedly created and directs this gang through Venezuela's military counterintelligence agency. Think Trojan horse, but with machetes and guns instead of soldiers. What's the end game here? It's not just crime. Arocha calls it asymmetrical warfare. Yes, a violent political weapon designed to destabilize. Arocha claims that the massive migration of Venezuelans to the U.S. is the perfect smokescreen. Over 8 million migrants, he says, create the ideal environment for the gang to spread like a virus. His words, not mine. And let's not forget the busing of migrants from Texas to other states, which, according to Arocha, only accelerates the spread. And don't blame Texas Governor Greg Abbott for this. His cities along the border were being overrun and overwhelmed by Joe Biden's lawless immigration policy. He had to do something to save his own people because the Biden regime was doing nothing to protect the American people, and it's their job. So Abbott started sending them to sanctuary cities. He had no idea TDA was involved. This is what happens when you have an incompetent and worthless administration in charge of immigration policies. And it's what happens when an administration breaks every immigration law we have. Because we know for a fact that had the Biden administration enforced the immigration laws that are currently on the books, we would have only probably a third of the problems we have today. So what happens if this keeps going unchecked? Speaking of unchecked, TDA has allegedly already shown its claws in the U.S. Remember that violent apartment takeover in Colorado? Yeah, that wasn't just an isolated incident. According to Arocha, this gang isn't just about making money. It's about exporting chaos and criminality on a government scale. It's Maduro's twisted version of a franchise. And guys, it's here. Thank God we got Trump elected. Now, how much do you want to bet the Democrats wet their pants if Trump suggests that we send military troops into cities to rid them of Tren de Aragua, a de facto military sent by the Venezuelan government? Imagine someone's TDS being so strong that they would complain about any plan to rid an invasion of violent gangs that were sent here intentionally by a foreign country that is not an ally. Now imagine an entire political party. They all went nuts. Many of them are elected officials who during Trump's first term complained about getting rid of criminal illegal aliens from their sanctuary cities, their unconstitutional sanctuary cities. How do these people keep getting elected? That's a question. Now, you'd think someone would be on top of this, but Arocha doesn't mince words. He argues that the Biden administration's policies, like lifting oil sanctions, have only strengthened Maduro's grip and allowed him to play international chess with the U.S. as the pawn. Shutting down the border won't be enough, Arocha says. You've got to go for the root cause, Maduro's regime itself. How come no one asks why the Democrats keep saying Donald Trump likes dictators, all because he didn't tackle Vladimir Putin to the floor and put him in a camel clutch the first time he met him? But these same doofuses never say anything about Biden releasing billions of dollars to Iran, lifting oil sanctions on Venezuela, and going easy on China. I'm sorry. I forget myself. Joe Biden had no idea what was going on over the last 4 years. So then the question now becomes, why did the cabal running the Oval Office during Biden's term do such things? I mean, is it because they're communists and they wanted to help out fellow comrades in arms? So here's where things get uncomfortable. Is the current administration complicit? It's not a stretch to ask, guys, especially when critics suggest the Biden crime family might actually benefit from all of this instability. Harsh words, but hey, that's politics in 2024. Meanwhile, defenders of the administration are out here downplaying the whole thing. I mean, remember when ABC's Martha Raddatz, for example, brushed off the Venezuelan gangs taking over just a few apartment complexes in Colorado?
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs.
This stupid TV reporter thinks violent takeovers are just a quirky little cultural exchange. Here's the bottom line. This isn't just a gang problem. It's a national security threat, and the current administration is asleep at the wheel. The question is, how much worse can it get before Trump gets in and takes it head on? Because if the last 4 years are any indication, we can't expect the Biden regime to even attempt to clean up the mess they gave us all, and they will blame Donald Trump. All right, thank you for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with more stories like this. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.